Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome to a special episode of The Single Rider. Today you guys, something pretty cool is going on. So my wife and I are just dropping the kids off at school, and then we are headed off to the Magic Kingdom to do one of my absolute favorite experiences that you can participate in at the Magic Kingdom, and that is the Keys to the Kingdom tour. So Christine has never done this tour before, but I have, and it was amazing. Like, seriously, so cool getting to hear from such knowledgeable cast members about the different things happening in, around, behind, and underneath the Magic Kingdom. So let's head on into the Magic Kingdom and let's see what we can experience. We're running in. We gotta make it. We've got 5 minutes to check in. If we don't, we lose all the monies. Doing the power walk. Get those strides, get it. We're almost there. All right, we gotta check in the next 2 minutes. We got this. 30 seconds to check in. We gotta head over to the Town Square Theater. That is where the tour begins. All right, we have checked in for the Keys to the Kingdom. We have our audio devices. We have our name tags, and it's official.
Not on yet, but there you go.
We barely made it though. And inside, we are inside the theater, and this is where you can go take your picture with Mickey Mouse and hug Mickey Mouse. Once again, he is back, but the wait times have definitely been higher, upwards to an hour right now that it's back and it's popular again. So but we're gonna get going on this tour. Like I said, we cannot take pictures or video, so we will update you when we're done and let you know what we think. Oh yeah, we can hear.
Oh, are you videoing?
Take a picture. All right guys, so we have just made it to our first stopping point or break of the tour. Obviously I haven't been filming anything because it's not allowed, but so far so amazing. We've been able to learn so many great things. What I'm probably gonna do is come back another day and kind of walk you through the different areas and some of the things that I've been able to retain in my mind from the tour. So anyways, back to the tour.
2 days later.
What is up you guys? We are back at the Magic Kingdom, and today I wanted to kind of walk you through the steps and all the locations that we went on the Keys to the Kingdom tour, which is, if you've never heard of the Keys to the Kingdom tour, it's a backstage look. It's somewhat like a VIP tour. It's only 5 hours. It costs $119, and it is seriously, I think, one of the best bangs for the bucks in terms of value on things that you can do here at Walt Disney World. You have a cast member, a wonderful, knowledgeable cast member, take you around the park. They share insights, history. You get to ride some attractions, and you just get to experience so many amazing things. And so today I'm going to walk you through all of the different things that I was able to experience on this Keys to the Kingdom tour. Now, I have done the tour in the past, and one of my biggest takeaways from the Keys to the Kingdom tour is that each time you do it, it is a different experience. And it's going to be different every time. So like if it's something that you're thinking you just want to do once in your entire life, definitely do it. But don't feel like you can't do it again, because every single time you do it, you're going to have a different cast member, most likely, and you're going to be able to experience new things and learn new things. And as a lot of you know, I'm here at Disney World a lot, and I know a lot, but there's no way I could know everything. And there's so many more people out there who know so much more than me. So being able to come here and participate in this tour was super amazing. I was able to come with my wife, Christine. She had never done it before, so it was a great eye-opening experience. And the purpose of this video is to not tell you everything. I'm definitely going to be leaving some things out. I'm just going to be kind of sharing with you some of the things that I was able to take away from it that I hadn't heard of before, and some of my favorite moments. And I'm going to keep it very on-stage friendly, and what that means is I'm not going to be sharing behind-the-scenes secrets. I want to preserve the magic. That is, in case there's any little kids out there watching, I don't want like anything that I say here to spoil the magic that is in Disney World, because some of the areas that we go to, we see things backstage where they're not on stage, they're not having a show, they're not on show. So yeah, this is going to be a very family-friendly look into the tour, the places that we stopped, the things that we were able to experience, and some of the things I was able to learn. So as we're coming into the Magic Kingdom, Walt Disney always loved the show experience, particularly movies. And who doesn't love movies, right? But basically Walt wanted the experience of coming to Disney World to be a show. So everything from the design, from the beginning, like approaching Walt Disney World, you have your ticket kiosk where you enter the park, and from there you walk through a tunnel where you see attraction art for the coming attractions or the things that you're about to experience. And as you walk into the hub, you don't see the main star of the show. Now, you may have gotten a preview as you came in on the monorail, but you haven't seen the true star yet. And we know the star, that's Cinderella. Cinderella Castle is the star of Walt Disney World, but Walt didn't want you to see her right away. No, he wanted to build the anticipation. As you come in through the tunnel, after you see that attraction art, you come in, you can purchase your popcorn, your snacks, your drinks, all kinds of amazing sweets, anything that you would want. You can purchase here at the confectionery. Just an amazing experience. And as you turn the corner onto Main Street, you catch your first glimpse of the true star of Walt Disney World, Cinderella Castle, in all of her glory. And I think Cinderella Castle stands about 150 feet. At the time that Walt Disney World was built, the height restriction for buildings, I believe, was 150 feet, because if you went any higher than that, they would have to place a red beacon on top of that structure. They had originally designed the castle to be much, much bigger, I think about 50 feet bigger, but because of that restriction, they had to decrease the size so they would not have to put one of those red beacons on top of Cinderella Castle. That would definitely take us all out of the moment, and Walt Disney World was not about that. Walt Disney did not want that at all, so they did shrink the design of Cinderella Castle down to what it is today. They will not be increasing it, although the laws did increase that height ceiling to 200 feet, which is why we see some other attractions in Walt Disney World right at that 200 feet mark, like Expedition Everest is 199.5 feet. So that is the tallest structure, I believe, in Walt Disney World. I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure there's that and Tower of Terror that are closer to that 200 feet mark. And as we make our way down Main Street, we cross a crossroads, as it seems, which is another street here on Main Street. It's a little crossway, also known as Center Street. And as we make our way down Center Street, some really, really cool opportunities. It's a street that a lot of people just pass by, but there's some great opportunities here to check out, especially this little studio here where you can hear some voice lessons in progress. And this is a little process that happens every 3 or 4 minutes. You can hear like a little show happening above in this studio above the Crystal Arts. And as we make our way even closer into the hub, we stop here where we can see just above the ice cream parlor and above the Plaza restaurant, there's a special window here dedicated to, that's right, Walt Disney himself. And he is positioned here very strategically, and the cast member explained to us that Walt was all about the people. He was a big people person. He loved greeting people. He loved saying farewell to people at Disneyland when he was there. And so this window is placed here strategically because people felt this is where Walt would feel the most comfortable. He would be here to see people coming in, and he would also be here to see people leave as they had exhausted themselves throughout the entire day, having an amazing time here at Walt Disney World. He's the first to see them coming in, and he's the last to see them leaving. So this is his special spot. Plus, he obviously wanted a view of Cinderella Castle, and since he was not here to see it completed, it's a bittersweet position for him, and I think it's a great tribute to Walt Disney having a special window in this location. So after we finished our window tribute story, we made our way over into Adventureland, and Adventureland is a very special land because as you're walking over, there is a smooth transition from the central hub area where we can see the star of the show into a new area where Cinderella obviously did not exist. So when we get over to where the spring roll cart is, you turn around, you cannot see Cinderella Castle any longer. That's right, you're in a completely new place. And I just think it's amazing, like what the Imagineers have done in the design of Walt Disney World, being able to keep each land separate and pull you into different areas. And as you walk in, it kind of goes with technology and through the times. You walk in, the first attraction that we see is the Swiss Family Treehouse. No technology is needed. You just simply walk through. That's the way it was designed. And as we make our way through Adventureland, we see more and more technology coming into play. And from the treehouse, we make our way over to the magic carpets of Aladdin. So as we pass through Adventureland, the technology is getting increasingly more elaborate. Not that I would call the magic carpets of Aladdin an elaborate technology ride. But it does involve a spitting camel. You can see some people over here getting wet from the camel. He does spit at you, and if you look at the ground here, you can see it's wet. That's how you know the camel's working. And sometimes he'll spit at you. Oh. There we go. He spit at people. We see the Jungle Cruise, which is an amazing attraction, and I'm gonna cut here and go into the Jungle Cruise because that was our next stop. You can see right here, there's a whole group. That was me last week on my Keys of the Kingdom tour. They were just heading over. They had probably just finished riding Jungle Cruise. Now they're heading over to Tortuga Tavern for a little history lesson. One of the amazing things about the tour was we got to basically get VIP treatment and enter the ride right over here. Didn't have to wait. Today is a 50-minute standby wait. So I'm going to jump in line, and I'm going to hopefully try and point out some of the things that I remember on the tour. So the Jungle Cruise, so much amazing information happening on that attraction, an opening day attraction. And as you can see right outside the front here is one of the last remaining e-ticket booths. So back when Disney World opened, people would purchase their admission, and then they would also purchase ticket books, and those ticket books included different level attractions based on the level of technology. The Jungle Cruise was one of those e-ticket attractions. Being an opening day attraction has a lot of deep history within the Jungle Cruise itself. We get to go on Jungle Cruise. Pretty cool. I'm not going to tell you everything that the tour guide told us, but I will tell you a couple of the things that stood out to me. One being that if you've ever noticed, the Jungle Cruise water is like a dark brown, murky color. It can be sometimes green, it can sometimes be just a brown color, but it's typically pretty murky. And the tour guide actually mentioned to us that they actually dye the water that color, and then how they distribute the dye is through the waterfall. The backside of water part, that waterfall coming over, mixes the dye and passes it throughout the entire attraction as the boats go through. So that's pretty cool. In the bathing scene where the elephants are bathing, if you look closely, there's actually 3 identical elephants there, and each one of those can replace the one that's in the water, because the one in the water actually breaks down quite frequently. So what they'll do is they'll rotate those 3 identical elephants into that waterfall bathing scene of the elephant. I didn't know that before. I'd recognize them as elephants, and they all look similar, but I had no idea that they were all the exact same mold, the exact same elephant. So that's pretty cool. Another really cool part is at the end scene, there's a tour boat with some monkeys on it. And if you look closely at the monkeys, they do have 2 maps, and those maps are the map of the Jungle Cruise. But what I didn't know is that that map that the monkey is holding, that torn up map, is the map of the Disneyland Jungle Cruise attraction. Now, our tour guide did tell us that in Disneyland in California, the monkey on that boat has a map of the Jungle Cruise here in Florida. So that's pretty cool that each of the rides pay homage to the other on the opposite coast of the United States. So yeah, take a quick look at that next time you're there. I didn't realize, I noticed it was just a map of what looked like the Jungle Cruise, but in fact it is a map of the Jungle Cruise in California. After that, we came over here to Tortuga Tavern and had a little break history lesson. Basically, if you've ever seen the attraction over at Hollywood Studios, the theater where it shows One Man's Dream, it talks about Walt Disney and his journey in creating Mickey Mouse and developing Disneyland and also Disney World, Epcot Center, and all of that. This right up here, the Golden Oak Outpost, is one of those original 3 e-ticket attraction booths here at the Magic Kingdom back in 1971. This is where you could purchase additional e-tickets to experience attractions. This is where we ate lunch at Pecos Bill, Tall Tale Inn and Cafe. It was really, really nice. They had a special spot for us reserved and probably being used right now, in fact. All right, it is time for lunch. We are here at Pecos Bill.
I'm starving.
And you build up quite the appetite doing this tour, just so you know. You're walking around.
Build up like an appetite just in general when you're in the parks.
Yep.
Because you're
We're
burning
hungry.
everything.
But she's got the nachos. And it's really cool. You come in here, they've got a condiment bar, and it's the only open bar at Disney right now since the pandemic. But it's just a condiment bar. So you got your cheese, you got sour cream, you got lettuce, tomatoes. And I got the taco trio, Diet Coke. And they give you this really, really cool name tag with a pin inside. It's really, really cool. Check it out. Boom.
Boom.
There it is.
Keys to the kingdom.
You get to keep that forever. Let's eat. Following our super yummy lunch over at Pecos Bill, we made our way over here to Splash Mountain, where we went backstage for the first time. Another little pit stop here for restroom breaks. Splash Mountain is currently down. kind of a rare opportunity to see Splash Mountain with nobody in the queue, especially on a warm day like today. What do you think of the tour so far?
So my first thoughts were like, my parents would really enjoy this. So, I mean, I enjoy it at 41, but like the majority of the people that are with us, I'll be honest, are senior citizens. And it's a lot more like just chill, you get more information, you get to do a few low-key rides. So that was my first thought. My parents would love this. Like this would be the best part of their day to come and start, and then they get to finish the night just kind of doing what they want. So I highly recommend it for more mature guests.
Right, so if you have kids, I would say probably not really, unless they're like maybe 13, 14, maybe at the youngest of that range. So like little kids probably wouldn't.
I mean, Sean would do it. He's 12.
Right, so 12, 13, 14, just depending on like what your kids are into, but we're loving it. The information is great.
We're middle age, so we're like, we kind of go both ways.
We don't need to like come to the theme parks and do like all the rides. Like it's kind of fun just to kind of learn new things and like learn the history of what we're learning about, like what we're seeing, and like some of the things that, you know, I'm somebody who comes to the parks a lot and knows a lot about Disney, but I'm learning so much stuff. So it's really cool. And over back here, this is where we went backstage for the first time, right here. And we walked back behind Splash Mountain and over to the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. Obviously cannot take you backstage, but this is where we entered backstage. And from there, we made our way back to the backstage where we saw several floats from the Festival of Fantasy Parade. And we also saw some characters. We saw Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, the Beast. We saw Rapunzel. We saw a bunch of amazing other cast members getting ready to come out for their 12 o'clock parade Festival of Fantasy, and that was pretty cool to be able to see them backstage getting ready. They were getting hydrated, they're getting super excited to come showcase that amazing parade, and I was able to see Maleficent back there doing its little rehearsal, blowing fire before it even came out onto the route for the parade. And from there we made our way back behind the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction and came back on stage right over here. And from there, we made our way over to the Haunted Mansion, and that's where we're gonna head next. Before we actually made our way over to the Haunted Mansion, we did stop over here in Liberty Square to take a look at the Liberty Bell and a few other things. Now the Liberty Bell, this one, rumor has it, was cast from the original Liberty Bell, the one that was in Pennsylvania, and was one of the last replicas made from the original mold, and that was pretty cool. Never heard of that before. And then above the bell, you'll see a bunch of flags representing the original 13 colonies, and then also one additional American flag representing the United States. But the coolest fact about Liberty Square isn't here, but is over here. Is this tree. Okay, so over here at the tree, just in front of the Hall of Presidents here, you'll notice that there are 13 lanterns hung within this tree, again representing the 13 colonies. But the coolest thing about this is how it's held up. It's held up through this tree. Now this tree was actually originally located over in the Epcot resort area. But Walt Disney saw this tree and he said, this is what needs to be at the Magic Kingdom. This needs to be in Liberty Square. And they worked so hard, so meticulously to transplant this tree over here. And rumor has it is this tree is over 100 years old. So it's definitely been alive a lot longer than Disney World's been here. But while they were transporting it here, they had a little bit of a mishap. And the tree actually split as they were bringing it over here. And so what they had to do was graft it with another tree to help it survive. But yet, I find that kind of interesting symbolism, because if you think about the United States and how we're all just kind of grafted, we're all kind of we all come from different places and different lands originally, whether it be from like Asia or Europe, but we're all kind of grafted together to form one nation. And I find this tree intensely or immensely symbolic of that, and Walt Disney's dream of unification and bringing people together, not just as a people and as a union, but to have fun together and to recognize all that is good, because we are truly blessed to live in such a beautiful country where we have the freedoms that we do. So I find this tree really, really interesting. I hope it stands here for many, many more years. Of course, Florida has lots of hurricanes, and this tree has seen a lot of hurricane but it still stands strong, and I find that immensely satisfying. The one thing that I knew before coming over here is, as you can see, the ground here has two separate tones. One, we have like this red clay looking stuff, and in the middle we have this like brownish cobblestone, which is to represent the sewage system in the good old days before they had outdoor plumbing. And you will find no restrooms in Liberty Square whatsoever. Even the restaurant Liberty Tavern does not have a restroom. You have to walk all the way to the back, which technically makes it into a different land. It is no longer in Liberty Square. But yeah, this represents the old western towns, how they used to be, with sewage running down the middle and the pathways off to the side. And that's kind of how it was back in colonial times, before sewage plants and treatment and routing was possible, back in the early days of the nation. So it's kind of interesting. A lot of people just kind of walk past this not realizing that. But kind of a cool fact that you can impress your friends with if you've never heard of that before. But from there, we headed over to the Haunted Mansion. And obviously very difficult to film in there, but I will try and get one quick shot. You know the scene where the ballroom scene, you can see all of the ghosts dancing in the main ballroom there. And as we know, that's a really interesting technology, but I'm not going to spoil anything for the little kids out there and how this is done. But if you look really closely at the top of the window when you're going through on your doom buggy there, you can actually see some ghost feet right above you, and I didn't ever see those before. And I'm pretty tall, so in order for me to see those, I had to really lean forward. But if you look really closely, you can see some feet right where the chandelier ghosts would be, right above you. But look hard, you might be able to see them. I'm going to try and get a shot here and show you here what it looks like, if I can. If not, you're going to have to go experience it for yourself. All right, so after we completed the Haunted Mansion, we came over here for another bathroom break over in the Tangled bathroom area section. We also looked for some pascals in the trees. And from there, that is where the real magic started and the real backstage tour began. And that is where we crossed through Fantasyland. Whoa, it got real bright. And that is where we went into the Utilidors, the inner workings of the Magic Kingdom. And obviously, no footage was captured in there, but I highly recommend it, guys. Definitely do it if you get the chance. It was incredible. Now, besides just the obvious fact of seeing lots of things that you normally wouldn't get to see underneath the castle and underneath Main Street, you just get to learn a lot about the inner workings. You get to see a lot of cast members taking breaks. You get to see a lot of costuming and lots of other things like that. There's so much that goes into making this park run on a day-to-day basis. So getting to see some of that was really eye-opening. And it makes you really appreciate a lot of what goes into running these parks on a daily basis. So we continued walking past Peter Pan, past the carousel, which also is the oldest attraction in Walt Disney World. I believe this carousel was originally built in 1917. I might be off on that, but I remember the cast member saying it was the oldest attraction here. They built everything here in the Magic Kingdom on the second floor so as to help with the water table and flooding, etc. So over here at the Friar's Nook, as we make our way over to the Friar's Nook. Now, before I say this, there's a lot of different entrance points and exit points to the downstairs area or the main level or the Utilidors of the Magic Kingdom. But this is just the one that I took on this particular tour. Right over here, next to the condiment station of the Friar's Nook. This is where we went down. It's right here.
1 hour later.
Hey everybody, so we just finished the amazing Keys to the Kingdom tour, but I've done this tour once in the past, and this tour was completely different. I mean, a lot of things were similar, but it's different all the time. So this is not like a one and done type of a tour. Like, you can come and do it multiple times. I found it even more enjoyable, in fact, the second time, because I didn't have to retain as much information as, there's a lot of information.
Yeah, you're just kind of like taking it all in. And bless her heart, like the tour guide, they have to talk so much, like, and memorize and learn so much. So it's just like, by the time they're done, I can tell it's like a lot.
Right, but seriously, like, if you have the time in your vacation or your trips, or if you're a local even, if you want something different to do at the parks. I highly recommend Keys to the Kingdom. It's about a 5-hour journey. You do put a few steps in, but it's not too bad. You take plenty of breaks. You get to eat, and you get to see some amazing things that you would not get to see on a normal visit to the park. So highly, highly recommend. I think the price is $115 per person. But yeah, highly, highly recommend it.
In addition to your park ticket.
Right, you do have to have separate ticket admission, so the $115 is an extra fee on top of that. But we started at 9:30. It's 2:30 now. It's about 5 hours, so plan on that. I would highly recommend it. Do it again. I want to do it again. Do you want to do it again?
Sure.
Let's go. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Keep being awesome. Enjoy yourself. See you in the next one.